All right, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine, Jeremy. Yeah, I have your girlfriend's number, and
Yes.
I want to get a couple dates from Kathy and work out a time where, you know, you can call in and you don't do Zoom. You're not able to do Zoom, but do you, or can you?
No. This phone system is the best I can do.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to clarify that. But yeah, have you call in and you know, just share with our group what happened and what's going on, and just, you know, it's just one more avenue that, from my perspective, that we can use to wake people up who really just don't want to believe that, you know, this is happening in America.
Well, and it's groups like yours, and I do lots of interviews, but they're always with these smaller groups because there is a concerted effort by the entire media complex, and that includes, you know, your left-wing outlets like MSNBC, but also your controlled opposition outlets like Fox News and Newsmax. None of them have offered to interview me either, all the way down to your local news outlets that are also owned by these large national and global media conglomerates. I mean, look, I ran for Florida State House of Representatives from a jail cell. The first time ever in the history of the state of Florida. I was the only Republican on the ballot. I got on the ballot by achieving the required petition signatures, not by paying my way onto the ballot. All from a jail cell. And then I was running in a heavy, urban, black Democrat district as a white, long-haired Republican in jail. And I was able to achieve 34.5% of the vote on election day, and yet only one local news media outlet ever reached out to speak with me, and that was the local paper, and they did one brief article about my story. Even on election night, there was never any mention of, hey, this crazy white guy that's locked up in jail is actually receiving a significant amount of votes. In fact, it was a split district, and in the district that was in the county that I actually lived in, we received almost 44% of the vote. And so this is the level of media blackout. See, in most political races, they would sling mud at a person like me. But in my situation, they didn't even want people to know my name, much less try to defame me, because the way the media works is we all know easy publicity is good publicity, right? Well, if they mention the name Jeremy Brown, you might go, wow, I've never heard of this guy. Let me look him up. Well, that's danger if you're trying to make this guy disappear and ignore him completely. And so that's what we've had to deal with. And yet, even in the face of this, cooperative, blackout, we've still been able to get the story out to many Americans. And the reason is because groups like yours that actually show up to hear firsthand with your own ears this guy who apparently was a retired Army Green Beret. I mean, he's not some nut job like they tried to describe me as. You can hear it with your own ears, and then you can look it up on your own and be like, wow. I mean, I posted the recording of the federal agents. You can listen to it for yourself. See, I'm not the liar here, and so I have nothing to hide, and I talk about every aspect of my case, and I answer questions from anybody who will ask them. It's the government that tries to censor voices, that hides the videotape, that will shred the document through their highly publicized congressional committee that's really meant to be a Soviet-style show trial. Those are the ones that have everything to lose because they're the ones that are lying and covering up their crimes against the American people.
Yeah, the trials that are going on in Washington are just, just a travesty. It's all kangaroo court, and it just, the guys don't have a chance even before they go in the courtroom. I mean, everything is stacked against them, and you're right, it's a communist-style court system, and trial by,
Kangaroo.
you're just,
Yeah.
you're just,
Kangaroo court.
you're just not agreeing with our narrative.
I tell him I don't, Jeremy,
Well, yeah, I
I
mean,
certainly
and we have a
don't.
constitutional.
I
I'm
don't-
sorry, go ahead.
No, I would not want you to be in one more day, but if it happens that you're going to run again, you let us know, give us a heads up. You'll get more than 34%, believe me, if I gotta drive to Florida myself. Believe me.
Well,
Yeah, well, first,
at this rate,
Jeremy, first I have to win my election in November,
Yeah,
because I'm running for school board. Yeah, I'm running for school board in November.
even up here, we have
okay, Wes.
the most liberal school board in at least two of the locations, and we've successfully gotten candidates in that we believe are going to win, and we're fighting on a local level, and we'll fight all the way to the top, I promise you.
Amen. That's right.
We're not going to stop,
Well,
go
and
ahead.
that really is the way the fight needs to be waged. It needs to be waged at the local level, because see, this is something that the communists, the globalists, again, whatever you want to call them, whatever ugly name you want to call them, the bottom line is that they're anti-American. But see, they've understood this for a very long time. The reason why these are left-leaning organizations is because, see, they knew that that's where the power was. They knew that the power was local and that nobody really pays attention to those offices, so it's very easy to sneak in there and then start to really twist and contort our culture through, the young, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, your head's full of mush, right? I mean,
Yeah.
our kids are where the indoctrination starts, and this is a well-known tactic of the KGB. I mean, this was spoken about by Yuri Bezmenov back in the mid-'80s when he interviewed a defected KGB agent, explaining that through the school system, through academia, this is how they gain a foothold and basically, overthrow countries without firing a shot. And this is exactly what has happened in the United States today.
Yep.
I think we were just asleep at the wheel for so long, and we were so trusting, and we were the fools, but we're not fools any longer.
That's right.
We are aware now, and one by one, we have to fight, and just listening to you, I promise you, that I will be vocal, Tina will be vocal, I know we will all be vocal, I promise you.
Well, and that is what we have to do. I mean, look, the United States was not founded as a democracy, contrary to even Republican politicians' proclamations and the repetitive use of the word democracy. We weren't a democracy. We were never meant to be a democracy. We were formed as a republic for the reason of having checks and balances against what the founders knew government was, which is the ultimate necessary evil, and it put severe and strict restrictions on the acquisition of that power. And ever since then, people have tried to distort and use ignorance and use the government school system to train our children to be reliant on the government. But we need to get back to the principles that founded America, and that is liberty and individual responsibility and independence. I mean, we were a nation that was formed and given a government that relies on an informed and an involved citizenry that has the moral compass to do what's right and not necessarily what's most convenient. And we've gotten away from that, and we've gone the way of all the other dictatorships and tyrannies and third world banana republics that is common in the rest of the world. I mean, I can speak from experience. I've been deployed to 5 of the 7 continents, and I know that this is the ultimate end of those who just don't participate and kowtow to those who demonstrate their power over top of them. So, we as people have the numbers, we have the voice, and we still have the means, no matter how hard they try to take it away, to resist the tyrannical installation of whatever it is that they want. I'm a firm believer that there is a global agenda to abolish the sovereign nation states, because that's always been the goal of evil, is to dominate the world. And we're coming up to the end of liberty very rapidly if we do not wake up to what is going on and then push against it and resist and turn this ship around.
Yeah. Jeremy, I've taken biblical citizenship class, and I'm trying to think who started that. Rick Green and several people with him. And one thing that he points out is that when our founding fathers were trying to put our government together, they really looked into and researched all the other government formats and plans of all the different governments in Europe, and came up with the consensus that they didn't want to go that route because none of those countries lasted forever. And they came up with the Republic and Constitutional Plan, and that involves the citizens, and why they prefaced the Declaration of Independence by saying "we the people," and made it very plain that it was the people who were in charge and responsible, and the government answered to us. And there was not ever any kind of type of government that had been put in place in the world up until that time that modeled that particular format.
Well, I mean, and that's exactly right, but this is what evil knows, right? The reason why the root word of communism is commune, and the reason why the root word of socialism is social, is that people understand that the natural state of humanity is that once you make promises of stuff, that people are selfish at a natural level, and so those things are easy to take advantage of. It's easy to lie to the masses and convince them of things, whereas those with an independent streak and that desire for liberty, those who say, look, it's my property, not your property, you worry about yourself and I'll worry about myself, because those are few and far between. And so this is a constant struggle. Those who lie and manipulate people are always going to have the upper hand, because there's more people that want to be lied to and manipulated than there are people that want to be responsible for their own actions. But this is why you constantly see the struggle throughout humanity, and the cycle of humanity is basically, freedom leads to complacency, which leads to bondage, which leads to rebellion, which leads back to liberty, right? So, this is the struggle that we're in, and, I just hope that we wake up to it in time to resist it this go-around.
Yeah, you're right. I think, and I think in our country, our founding fathers recognized that freedom just isn't a state of or a place of mind or a situation. It really, freedom is, given to us by the Lord, and it's a right that we've been given by Him. And I think that's, suddenly we've realized that after years of being complacent and being asleep and just, blindly trusting those that we elected into leadership,
you have 1 minute left,
that they would do what they want to do, we realize that those rights are ours and that we're not going to let them take it away.
Well, no, and it's troubling when you hear studies of, a large percentage of young people would rather give up their ability to influence the world around them through voting than to give up their TikTok account. And so this is all a result of indoctrination. It's all a result of that complacency, where people would rather have somebody, coddle them from cradle to grave rather than take responsibility for their own lives and exercise their freedom and liberty. And so until we can turn that around at a cultural level, we're going to continue to see those that just don't care about any of this, that are going to be happy that FEMA comes in to to help them clean out their basement because it rained a little bit.
Right, yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
using Securus.
Well,
Goodbye.
thank you for
Yep, thanks.